Well, among all the sports titles that it came with, I really didn't think any of them were worth showing off, mainly because I hate sports titles, and I think that most consoles are actually overflooded with them, but this one was actually kind of interesting. Daytona USA, as you can see, the graphics and the environments, well, they're really not that impressive, but what is kind of interesting about this is that the physics, I don't know whether to be, what's the word, surprised or disappointed with them, because when you run into other cars, you know, the car kind of springs back, and the handling is really not that realistic as opposed to modern-day racers where they squeal and swerve everywhere. But what's interesting is when you go over the grass, you start to swerve, or slow down, a lot. Where's my accelerator? Oh, my accelerator's C? Jeez. And also, if you run over the cones, they start flying everywhere, which shows that they put some kind of graphical power into it. Also, I've actually seen videos where you can flip the car, which is kind of interesting, so I'm not sure whether to say this was revolutionary or ho-hum for the time, considering games like not San Francisco Rush. What was that one that came out on the DS? It was like one that came out on the PlayStation. Oh well, screw it. Next game. This is the cult classic Virtual Cop, which was kind of an arcade shooter that I guess they decided would be wise to port to this system. The only unfortunate part is that there's no light gun, or maybe if it was light gun compatible, I don't have a light gun right here, so I'm just using the Sega Saturn controller. You know, I haven't found a lot of use for these shoulder buttons yet. That's kind of weird. Now loading. Again, I'm not sure whether to be surprised or disappointed with something like this. The graphics, like just the environments, look kind of half and half, but I think the sprites actually look kind of interesting. You know, they don't look polished, but they don't look unclean. Their suits kind of seem, you know, alright. You know, it's kind of like Nintendo DS. You don't know, you know, I kind of don't know whether, are these graphics good or are they bad? I just can't put my finger on it. Either way, the action, though, is kind of fun. Even without the light gun, it's kind of a challenge. Believe it or not, eventually I will get shot, but it's an okay game. Not sure what they charged for it when it first came out, but I wouldn't pay anything over $5 for it. $5, though, wouldn't be bad. Actually, no, $1 would be more like it. Anyway, alright. You're looking at Virtua Fighter 2, which is one more than Virtua Fighter 1. See if I can load up a game here. I kind of like Virtua Fighter 2. Again, I'm not really good at fighting games, but this is kind of simplistic. I mean, you know, you don't have these overcomplicated moves. I keep picking this one guy, Wolf, because he looks cool, and he has a neat name, Wolf. We're waiting for it to load. Please wait. Anyway, it's not overcomplicated. You got, you know, punch, kick, block. Deal with it, you know? The graphics... Ooh, I just got kicked in the face. Well, how about I kick you in the face, buddy? Yeah, and slam you! Anyway, the graphics and the moves and the, you know, physics really aren't that amazing. But then again, I can remember some early Tekken titles that I saw in the arcades that were pretty rough. And, they probably weren't as rough as this. And this is kind of rough for 32-bit, supposedly. But, you know, I don't have a problem with it. I can see what this is like in Cult Classic. This seems like a neat party game. And if they would put this on the Virtual Console, hell yeah! Is it already on the Virtual Console? And here's the last game that I'm going to demo for you. It's probably one of the most interesting of all the ones that came in my package, is Congo, the Lost City of Zinj. Okay, what a gay name. This is actually based off of the movie, which was based off the book, which I actually never read. Sorry, Michael Creedon. But I did like the movie. I love the movie Congo. I'm going to play a game. Yeah, sure, we're going to go with new. Yeah, load it up for me. I'm going to go with easy. This is kind of, it's a first-person shooter, and it's more graphically powerful than Doom, but it's obvious Doom and AVP and Wolfenstein, but it's obviously not on the level of something like Quake or well, you know, one of those, you know, first-person shooters where you actually get to look up as opposed to just left and right. You got some full motion video here that introduces the story, which is actually about you get to play as a black dude, which that's interesting. Yeah, there he is. That black dude who's stranded and actually has jungle fever, which is actually interesting. I like how I just pressed start there to skip past this. I like how it fades out of the full motion video instead of just like abruptly stopping it. So that's pretty cool. Alright, it's loading now. The load screens are eventful here, and you actually, you know, can read his journal up there if you actually care to, which I don't. I'm gonna press start. Again, the graphics, don't know whether to be impressed or not. They're pretty rough, and again, they're not Quake or N64 level. But well, you can jump, so you can jump, and of course, it's important that you be able to shoot. There's some enemies. That yellow warping on the screen, that's supposed to represent my jungle fever. Spider enemies. Most of the enemies in this game revolve around spider stuff. You can actually shoot your enemies' bodies away. That's so cool. The spiders are kind of creepy, even regardless of the fact that they're not very graphically advanced, just because of the way that they jump and stuff. Gonna pick up a health pack. Anyway, so, yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a little repetitive, though, because the environments, you mainly stay in, in the Congo, in the jungle. Eventually, I see that you get to, what's the word? A place, a temple, like a jungle temple or whatever, like in the movie. You get the idea. Alright, what do I have to say about all this? Well, it's not... you can see why the Sega Saturn got beat out by the Sony PlayStation. There was a lot of reasons that contributed to that. Do I know the reasons? Yes. Am I going to tell you the reasons? No, because I don't have that much time. And I'd rather just talk about how I feel as opposed to what the facts are. And, you can always look them up on Wikipedia. Interesting stuff, that video game history. Anyway, I'm glad... Pros about the system. I'm glad it works off of CDs. Cartridges suck, excuse me. I'm glad it works off of CDs, and I think it was a step in the future. The graphics are kind of interesting. I mean, I remember when I first saw these, it kind of blew my mind. And yes, it kind of sucks compared to modern consoles. Of course, they all do. But is there a reason to have this? Well, again, it's always a thrill to kind of get a retro console and play it with your friends, especially if you have friends. I don't. And that's cool. The games are the games. The games, third-party development, I'd say, will never be as good as Sony's for the original PlayStation. Never be as good. But on the other hand, it had its scream. This console screams cult classic at the top of its lungs. It had so many cult classics like, Nights into Dreams, which they are going to make a port to the Wii, and it's like the only reason I'm keeping my Wii. And also the Panzer Dragoon series, which is famous, and had a lot of RPGs like, well, not sort of Vermilion, something about Oasis, Dreams of Oasis, whatever the hell it was. Anyway, and you can find them, if you can find it for cheap, I'd say go for it, especially if you're really into Sega arcade classics. If you really like Virtua Fighter and Virtua Blend, then you're really going to like this, and you can probably dig up a lot of cool games. Of course, on the other hand, you can get those for a lot of other consoles because they've made compilations of them. So, this one's kind of up to you, and, take a look on eBay if you like it. This is Tolstoy Kafkaevsky reminding you to mind your internet manners and shut the hell up.